Welcome to the Art Colony, a podcast about art and art history in Provincetown. My name is Gaston Lacombe. Here in Provincetown, we don't lack performers. Some come to grace our stages just for a day or two. Others come for a week or two. Then there are those who stay for a whole season, but very few are those who keep on entertaining us the whole year long. And our guest today is one of those who, regardless spring, summer, winter, or fall, is working to bring a ton more joy to our stages in Provincetown. And they are also about to stage their crazy, silly, hilarious, and psychedelic annual 420 show. I'm talking, of course, about Mackenzie. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi, Gaston.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Hello, world.
And I'm so happy you are here.
Absolutely.
So if you've listened to the podcast before, you know what my first question is. Who is Mackenzie?
My goodness. Mackenzie is a beautiful Frankenstein creation of all the lovers and loves I've ever had in my entire life. Most importantly, she is the doll that doesn't stay on the shelf staying perfect. She is the doll that you took into your sandbox and on all those adventures. So she might have a little goofy face, or her tights might be ripped. She might not have tights at all, but she's still a fabulous being who's going to make you feel some queer joy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And where does Mackenzie's story start?
Mackenzie's story starts back on a very cold, chilly December evening in a Big Lake, Alaska. Actually, I should rephrase, Anchorage, Alaska, where I was born, to the incredible Tom and Michelle Miller. I'm also one of three.
Yeah, you're a triplet.
They had their own litter. They always like to say they quit while they were behind, I believe. And yeah, they had their own little litter out there in Big Lake, Alaska for 5 years. And then I found my way down to the main states. But I think Alaska is probably what really started the massive imagination that I have.
In what way?
My parents worked very, very hard. We didn't have a lot growing up, but they worked very hard to provide for their this big family. And we didn't have a lot of entertainment. There was we had basic channels on TV that were very scratchy, but we had the great outdoors. That was what we did. And at a very young age, our shoeless glory, we would run outside and just let our imagination take over. My brothers and I would play house or anything that we could come up with just to pass the time. And spring, summer, winter, fall, we created it.
It's really rare that we meet someone who's a triplet.
I know, right?
So talk to us about growing up as a triplet. How did that affect your further development?
Absolutely. Well, I'm the coolest part is I'm fraternal. So they're identical, they're egg split. And then I like to remind them that I was there no matter what. One of them's just real lucky. But I am the baby, only by 1 minute. We just kind of got pulled out quickly. So I am the baby, but my brothers like to pretend that there was a big age gap. I definitely was the more sensitive type, if you know what I mean. And they always had each other, but I always had myself. I definitely had my imaginary friends. Like I said, I had the great outdoors, but I always kind of did my own thing. And that stayed with me for a large majority of my life. I always kind of paved my own path, and I'm really grateful for it. They've always been my biggest fans, but also biggest critics. They definitely let me know when things do not work. But also more than anything, the love is there, and I'm very lucky.
And you didn't stay in Alaska all through your youth, right?
No,
Where did you end up?
We moved down to the Seattle area right about the time we hit first grade, which was a big shock. To have snow days was wild. We never had a snow day when it came to school in Alaska, but once we were down in Seattle, we had snow days all the time. And I was like, what do you mean we have a snow day? Usually the only reason we wouldn't go outside in Alaska was wild animals on the playground.
What sort of animals did you have there? Like grizzly bears or something?
Bears, moose, elk, you name it, it was out there. Good eating too.
Yeah, moose is actually very delicious.
Very good.
My father's a big hunter. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, my dad is as well.
How does a moose attack you, though?
They're very territorial. I mean, especially during those times during breeding season, if there were youngins out there, especially, like you never wanted to cross a baby moose because that means mama was not too far behind. And we were tiny little tots, so we were going to get trampled if that was the case.
Those are huge animals.
They're beasts.
If ever you've seen a moose in person, it's almost incredible how big they are.
Right? A picture will never do it. Like when you see them live, I'm a big drag queen, but those moose just...
And here we are talking about art. Okay, so you ended up in Seattle. So, what happened then?
So Seattle, I had to take care of all of my elementary school, middle school, high school, puberty, that whole thing. Came out when I was about 15. At that point, it was very clear that I was a performer type. I was the one coordinating the Christmas pageants or the Thanksgiving play and giving the parts to all my cousins. I love collaborating. It's my favorite C word, and that started with my family. And then as I really started to find my community and my people out there, especially when I came out at about 15, 16 years old, I really started to understand more of the depth of my presence, especially on stage. And then I went away to college. I was very thankful to be a scholarship student to the Boston Conservatory. Go Boco. And yeah, that was a very transformative 4 years. And then after that, I inevitably did the New York City thing. I wanted to try to the Broadway scene. I really struggled with the idea of walking out of an audition room and seeing 6 more blonde hair, blue eyed, 6 foot tall men. And it was fine, but it was like I felt like a number. I didn't feel like there was any individuality or something unique about me. I kind of just felt like I was herding through and moving out. And most of the time, if not all the time, it was always a big old no. And that's hard to hear. So I started paving my own path. I started creating my own work. Therefore, I could never be fired or let down. And it really blossomed into what I believe is a superpower and how I'm able to touch the world the way that I do.
No, that's good. I also decided to carve my own path, and I
Yes.
don't regret it.
That's why.
Self-employed, man.
Mhm.
Let's go back to Seattle a little bit.
Absolutely.
When I think of Seattle and I think of drag, I
Mhm.
think right away of Dina Martina. Were you
the goat.
in any way connected with her or influenced by her?
Dina was very much somebody that I idolized at a younger queer life stage. We would make a tradition out of going to see her Christmas show at Rebar, I believe it was, which is no longer around. But she would perform there, and every Christmas Eve we would try to go see her. Even if I was out here in Provincetown, we would try to go back. But then we connected out here in Provincetown. And then inevitably we become really good friends. I love seeing the journey of that incredibly unique, hilarious entertainer.
There's no one like Dina
No
Martina.
no one. You go, baby.
Yeah, if you think of drag queens and you want to come to Provincetown to see drag queens, well, Dina Martina is a whole different category, and you have to put that on your
A
itinerary.
must see.
Yeah, it's not the RuPaul trajectory here at all. At the Boston Conservatory, what did you study? Were you in performance? Were you in dance? What were you studying?
Would you be shocked to hear I was a musical theater major? I like to say I have a BFA in drag because inevitably that's actually how I found drag, was through the local drag show that they have within the Boston Conservatory, which is a gigantic fundraiser for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And I took to it immediately. It was just such a cool production. It was in this little black box, or the Zach box as we called it. And it was just the most incredible blowout party. It was packed every single year, and I had to get involved. So by my senior year, I directed the 10-year anniversary of that. It was an incredible success. And I think after that is really when I knew that philanthropic drag was going to be my calling.
And we'll get to that.
Absolutely.
Because, your Instagram profile also describes yourself as a fundraiser.
Mhm.
Then how did Provincetown come into your life?
I was so disenchanted with New York. I believe right about that time I was dropped by my agency that I had signed with, and I was just feeling
Screw them.
crappy. It's okay. I wish them well, but I'm doing great. I was definitely feeling pretty defeated, and I needed a break. And my friend Steve at the time, I love you, Steve. He and I were both a little disillusioned with everything that was going on in the city. I kind of realized that I needed to get out of the city. So we kind of hatched this plan. It was like, what if we moved to Provincetown? Now, I had been vacationing for a couple years prior with my roommates who, funny enough, I was at the Boston Conservatory for 4 years and had no idea Provincetown existed until I moved to New York. And my gays were like, we got to do 4th of July. It's just amazing. And I did. I stayed at the Crown and Anchor. I got my fill of the boys and the booze and the drugs. And I kept wanting to come back for more. And so 2 years later, I decided that I wanted to just take the leap and just see if I could do a season. And God forbid, I am here 12 years later.
How did you start? How was your first season?
It was epic. Okay, my very first job ever was at the Bowie Bar at the Boat Slip, that hotel lobby bar up top. And I had actually lied about my bartending experience. I took an online class. How do you successfully take an online bartending class is my question.
The taps, right?
Yeah. Oh, but this was like teaching you how to. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think I got it on Groupon. It was a mess. I didn't finish the course, but I didn't say that on my resume. But lo and behold, I got the job. And so in a matter of weeks, I was headed off to Provincetown with Steve. We'd packed a rental car. We drove to the Archer Inn, which was up on Bradford. I don't think it's called the Archer Inn anymore, but we had our little private bedroom. We slept in the same bed. Forgive me, and we had the best time. We had the best time. He unfortunately had to leave. Steve had to leave halfway through the season, so I just became a giant slut the rest of the summer. And with that, I definitely fell in love with this community in this town.
Welcome back. Just a reminder to follow us on Instagram at The Art Colony Podcast. And also, if you want to help us out, you can go to buymeacoffee.com and leave us a little tip. You go to buymeacoffee.com, do a search for The Art Colony Podcast, and you can leave us a little tip to help us out with the podcast. And I want to give a thank you to Donna and to Stuart for helping us this week. So, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Your name is Mackenzie and your drag name is Mackenzie.
Yes.
Explain, please.
Well, I had gone through a number of drag names when I had first started out. I was MJ Blonde for a number of years. I was Betty Blackout. In New Jersey, I did an event as Betty Blackout, and I in fact blacked out. So after that, I kind of let the name go. And then it was one time that I was performing in New York City. I was really just figuring out who this all was. And this promoter wanted to pay me and wrote a check out to Betty Blackout. And I never saw that promoter again. So I was so mad. You know, I was really pinching pennies. I was just trying to make ends meet in New York City, in a city I hated at that point. And so I just kind of swore off any drag names. And it was like, you know what? Mackenzie is a gorgeous name. It is a badge of honor. I used to hate it growing up because I was relentlessly bullied for having a girl's name. And then I learned who I was, and it is a badge of honor. So Mackenzie it was, and it has been ever since.
So if somebody has never seen Mackenzie or has never been to a Mackenzie event, how would you describe yourself as a drag artist?
Mackenzie as a drag artist is love incarnate, is queer joy set to 11. I don't know if I was dropped as a child, but I have such an optimistic outlook on life. I have so much love for anyone who wants to be in my general vicinity. I look at life very joyfully and very happily. And with that translates beautifully into my art. Like I said, I always want to create love and joy when you're around me. And I always do that when I'm on stage. But with that, I'm also very androgynous. I love dressing in drag, but I don't pad, I don't tuck. But that doesn't take away from the absolute gorgeous goddess that I know that I am.
You are.
Thank you. And I think that part of that is a powerful message about body positivity and loving every fiber of your being. And that also comes through in my art. And I love just being able to continue to pass on positivity in any way that I can to anybody who might need it. Because I do think the world needs a lot more support out there.
Usually, I imagine people would expect drag queens to, as you said, tuck and pad and want to look as feminine as possible. Mm-hmm. But you are yourself through and through. Definitely. So how do people react to that? It's
been an interesting journey. Before I really kind of built who I have been over these last 18 years, it has been in drag, or that I've been in drag. I'll be honest, most queens or collaborators that I worked with early on were bullies. They were bullies, and I figured out later that it's mostly because they didn't quite understand or they weren't. It wasn't for them. And I understand that my drag is not for everyone, but I promise your life will be a little better if you just let it be what it is. It's a thing of beauty. It was hard to kind of carve my place out in the drag world because it's very tight knit. It can be very protective, some gatekeeping as far as their art form, and I totally respect that. But for me, I just found something so authentic about staying true to myself. I know that's a little cliche to say, but it definitely is a superpower of mine. And it's something that I know that I'm inspiring in other people, is to just embrace every bit of who they are, no matter what that is. Your darkness, your light, your beauty, your anger, your frustration, every component of that is a part of you, and you can't ignore that. Hopefully it's a beautiful way that you're expressing these things, but if not, I hope that you're inspired to get the support that you need. But I don't know. Since then, all of these collaborators that I've worked with, who maybe we started off on a rocky start, we've all become dear sisters and colleagues, as Ms. Varla Jean Mermer would say. And I'm a very lucky girl.
I love that she says that all the time. She's a colleague.
That's a colleague.
She's a colleague.
She's a colleague.
And you talked about body positivity,
Yes.
and couple years ago, and for a couple years, you had a show where that was the central theme of it.
Absolutely,
Tell us more
absolutely.
about that.
That was magnifique. I decided to dip my toes into burlesque because I love being naked. I love putting on a fabulous costume, but I love when it comes off too, especially for some dollar bills. But I found a beautiful network of queers out here who of all body types and we all wanted to just flaunt it. And Provincetown was a beautiful environment, beautiful canvas to be able to do just that, especially because, there's a very certain specific type of body out here in the summertime that sometimes people idolize and worship. And we wanted to blow that out of the water. We wanted to really make an exciting splash. And so Magnifique ran for 2 years at the Crown and Anchor. The very first year was incredible. We'd had some Trojan condom bracelets that lit up that we found in a closet that we decided this was an opportunity to kind of communicate with the audience. So they became consent bracelets. So every audience member, if you didn't mind, if we got all nasty and grinded up on you, you could put on a bracelet. If you wanted to just kind of observe, you didn't have to wear one, but it let us know that you were cool to mess around with us. And if not, you were there to just enjoy. But it really opened up my mind and my excitement about the art of burlesque. And I learned so much through all of those incredible artists that we had through there. And it lasted for 2 years. And I since see the torch has passed, and it's a beautiful thing to have here in Provincetown.
Is there more of that coming up?
There's always a sense of burlesque with Mackenzie. I never fully close the door on that chapter, but if you come see me in any show, I generally will end up a little more naked than when I've started.
And what are the shows where people could see you here in town?
Absolutely. So every single Friday in the off season, my buddy Austin and I host our legendary RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party. We've been doing that now for 8 years. You can find me hosting drag brunches all over town. You can also find me hosting and producing Pride events all over now the East Coast. I'm out in Newport. Lower Cape Pride, we just started this last year to give Orleans and Brewster a Pride for the first time ever, because we are actually seeing about 60% every single year. There's a decrease of Pride and all across the world. And I don't like that. So the more Pride we can produce around the country and hopefully the world, the better.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about drag brunch. There was a time when you were doing them year round.
Yes, indeed. So there was always such a beautiful summertime calling for these drag brunches. They were always packed. But then when it came to the year round scene, it all, everything got boarded up. And one of my very first winters, there was not a lot to do. We didn't have anything. So at that time I was at the Pilgrim House, and I pitched them on a year-round drag brunch. And lo and behold, every single Sunday, it was Sunday service, I would have a revolving cast of any girls that were in town or just wanted an opportunity to perform. And we sold out that thing every single week. And it definitely, I believe, was the launching point for kind of getting my name out there in Provincetown. And it's been a beautiful career ever since.
Yeah, and you've been busy ever since.
Blessed, busy, booked. It's a wonderful life.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that Provincetown closes down in the winter. I hear that a lot when people come to my gallery, like, oh, it must be so lonely.
Oh, it's so terrible.
No, I always say it's a very dynamic place.
It is my absolute
because
favorite.
the people who live here year round are here by choice.
Yes.
They're not stuck here.
Correct.
They're not here because their families here, whatever. Most of them are here by choice. And so they want to make it work.
Yes.
And they're very, very involved in the community.
Absolutely.
And so there's stuff going on all year round. And
There
you're
is.
involved in organizing a lot of that stuff.
It's been incredible. I've never would have thought a day in my life that somebody who started coming here for the specific reason of the summertime would literally have the reverse schedule. Like summertime is almost where I breathe. I work my taxable income jobs. Love you, Pop and Dutch and Lady Slipper. And then in the fall, winter, spring, I feel like Mariah Carey being like thawed out. Like, it's my time to shine. And I love what this community has offered me and given me as far as a platform. And I'm not going anywhere, baby.
Yeah, I had sort of forgotten that you had a summer job as well.
Yeah, those two.
Pop and Dutch and Lady Slipper are a sandwich place and a new bar in town, and they're both absolutely fabulous. So if you come to Provincetown, I do recommend going to Pop and Dutch and Lady Slipper.
Definitely.
Let's talk about what you mentioned on your Instagram profile, that you're also a philanthropist and a fundraiser.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
So kind of going back to the drag show that we had at the Boston Conservatory, when I saw this incredible response for a fundraiser, it instantly kind of clicked that we could use this artistic expression for good. And later on, when I started really getting my hosting chops, I took opportunities to host a fundraiser here and there, whether it was for a couple $100. But then when those totals would come in and you'd make $500 for a local charity or $1,000, or a cause was needed and we had a goal of 5,000. Then all of a sudden that rush and that adrenaline of, oh my God, well, we just did 5. Well, I want to make it 10,000 next year. And then 50,000 and then 100,000. And to date, over the last 18 years, I've been able to help local charities raise over $1 million.
That's fantastic.
Thank you so much. There's no better drug out there. And I've done a lot of drugs, Gaston. There is no better drug.
But you are sober now.
Yes, I am. Yes, 2 years.
And yeah, that's also something that I don't want to say you preach it, but there's something that you're proud of.
Very.
And you talk about it.
Very. This is definitely a second, probably third or fourth chance at life. And I am not going to take it for granted. If you've known me for an extended period of time, I'm very thankful that I didn't do anything too damaging, but I recognized that everything that I had been working for in my life was on thin ice, and I didn't want to lose that because this community means way too much to me. And I turned my life around, and when I tell you that the response not only from my community, but even just the love that I had for myself before, it's just astounding. Not only the quality of life, but the clarity that I have showing up for myself and for my community is unlike anything else. So,
and we do have a very large and active sober community here in Provincetown.
Yes, and it's continuing to grow, which is very inspiring.
So, Mackenzie, we have you on at this moment because you have a big event coming soon.
I do.
Your annual 420 party, 420 show.
Spectacular.
Spectacular. That's a good word for it. So tell us more about that.
Yes, indeed. So this is our 6th year of 420 Honey. It started back at the Pilgrim House with a cast of 6. It honestly, at that time, I thought was going to be my biggest flop because we maybe had 10 tickets sold.
I was one of them.
You were one of them. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I had bought tickets and I was there.
We would have performed for those 10 people, but lo and behold, we held the door for, I forget exactly how long, but the line was down the block to buy these tickets. Standing room only. We had people upset that they couldn't get in. And then I remember that we're dealing with mostly stoners for that. So they were all going to wait last minute anyway. But every year it's continued to grow. The cast that went from 6, now we're dealing with over 20 local artists. And every year I pick a very unique theme. This year's theme, we're going deep sea ocean. We're doing a nature special all about the hungry, horny biology of our ocean. It's called 420,000 Leagues Under the She. Okay. And I'm so pleased. This year we're at the Gifford House, our very first year. The whole team over there has been very receptive and very excited about this ever-growing project. And I'm just so excited to bring it to life. It's incredible. Every single year, these artists push themselves to create beings or creatures that fit within this theme. And I'm able to kind of formulate this storyline around it while still being very easy to follow for some of our celebrating friends out there.
And it's funny that your theme really links up with the carnival theme for this year, which
Absolutely.
is deep sea disco.
Yes, indeed. I figured that this was time for maybe a little bit more visibility with the 420 name year round. Also, I'll have my costume done already, and I'm thrilled about that because come August, usually I'm running a little behind. So
I only do 2 costumes a year. Actually, it's almost like only one every year.
And they're always slaying.
Carnival.
Babe. Yeah. Okay. What were you last year?
It was summer camp.
Yes,
so I was a baseball coach. Yes. I was the summer camp baseball coach.
Yes.
I didn't see any others. So that's always,
you
always know when you have a good carnival costume when you don't see any others.
Facts, baby.
But yeah, 420, why did you choose that as your big spectacular?
Absolutely. Well, back in my Seattle creative upbringing, I was just kind of getting into the queer scene out there, and something really unique happened. We all know the 420 holiday is that big stoner holiday. And so on 420, I would go out to Capitol Hill, and the venues that were still around at the time had lines down the block. And I couldn't figure out, well, what is this? And then I learned by word of mouth that this was a drag show. This is their annual 420 show that they're doing. So I went in and I would try to soak in as many of these shows as I could because, Gaston, they were the most unhinged, inspiring, colorful. My nipples are hard just talking about it. It was so beautiful how everyone just kind of let everything go. And there was such insane artistic expression happening that it was all I could ever hope for from a drag performance. And I needed to see more of it. And I, not only that, but I was just so inspired to continue on with a tradition. And when we first set off doing this, I think it was 2019. We were just seeing the very first cannabis dispensary opening here in town, so I really kind of jumped on the opportunity, dipped my toes because we wanted to see how it would go, and of course I was very nervous. But it has just blossomed into such a community event, and everyone gets involved, whether that's performers, producers, sponsors. I mean, the whole town is in some way, one way or another, very involved, and it's just I've never been happier to produce something ever in my life.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
So who will be on stage with you this year?
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to do it justice by naming everybody, but I mean, if they're here in town now, they're probably in it. We've got the Diva Girls coming back from Puerto Vallarta. We have Marissa Miller, who's joining us this year, Austin Tyler, Hunter Love. I mean, the full spectrum of drag excellence here in Provincetown, whether they're stoners or not, they're all understanding the assignment perfectly, and I'm having a ball writing this show.
Yeah, every single show I've been to, it's literally, excuse the expression, it's been a trip.
Great. And have you've been to every one?
Nearly. I think I missed one.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll forgive you.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile being sober and also doing a show about 420?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm California sober, so I do partake in cannabis if it's from the ground. I love a little microdose of mushrooms. The plant life has never been a problem for me. It's a lot more of the alcohol and the substances, the chemicals that were really doing some damage. So I found a way to really keep going creatively with this subject matter of cannabis while still being true to myself. And still staying in control.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And you do a great job.
Thank
that
you.
show every year is really spectacular.
Thank you so much.
So if people want to go to the 420 show,
Absolutely.
Where should they go to find information?
So you can head over to my Instagram at It's Just Mackenzie, or you can head on over to the 420 Instagram, which is at 420 Honey P-Town. That's 420 Honey, HONEY, P-Town. And you can click on our links for more. Tickets will be on sale, and we're so excited to have you. We are going to be at the Gifford House this year, so we are dealing with a slightly smaller house than we usually have. So tickets are going to sell fast. So I guarantee you're going to want to get them as soon as you can.
But they are renovating that room right now.
They are indeed.
So there's going to be a little bit more space in there.
I have a habit of kind of debuting brand new spaces here in town. It's just one of my favorite things ever.
Well, good. Congratulations
Thank
on that.
you.
So, Mackenzie, do you have other big events coming up this summer?
I do. I always have something in this brain of mine that I'd love to get out. I'll be doing a ton more fundraising this year, of course. I'll be back in Newport several times for drag brunches and fundraisers. I will also be a part of Lower Cape Pride this year, which I'm so excited for. Last year was our very first year, and that's the Pride in Orleans and Brewster. So I'll be more involved this year as well. I also have a few exciting things that I don't know if I'm at liberty to talk about quite yet, but I am looking into a summer show for the very first time that actually, and what I can tell you is that it only takes place when it rains.
Oh, okay.
So you know how everybody scatters for indoors when it rains? What if we gave you a spot to come dance with us?
Garbage write a song about that?
Actually,
I'm only happy when it rains.
I need to add this to my list.
Yeah.
We got to perform that. So yes, well, more details on that. I have a Halloween production that I'm very excited that I'm kind of working, that I have been working on for a while, but this is now I'm finally getting the confidence to maybe try to bring it to light. And then as always, I'm going to be here in Provincetown doing my Disney princess thing.
Are you going to be hosting the Provincetown Pride this year too? Because you have been like the sachet to tea
yes
thing.
You will definitely see me at Provincetown Pride this year, right on those town hall steps.
Where do you see Mackenzie in like 10 years from now?
Oh my goodness. That is a really good question. Happy and alive, first and foremost. I do know that I will be continuing to spread queer joy and love, whether or not these knees and these hips can keep going in drag is another story. But I do see myself continuing the revolution of love. If that's here, if that's around the world, I'll be around. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I was wondering, around the world, is Mackenzie going to go on the road at some point?
I will when I am ready. Right now, especially in these last couple of years of really figuring out who I am and how I show up in this world, I'm feeling very good about being here in this community and sort of building this creation and fine tuning it. And then I know the world will be ready for me when I'm ready for it as well.
And yeah, this is a great place to be.
It is.
Especially if you're a creative person who's ready to try new things and be very daring and bold.
Absolutely.
You have a receptive audience here. And
It's
that's
so
great.
true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Okay, let's go on to the speed round.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I need some little music for my speed round.
Okay.
Like,
I mean,
we'll have to figure it out. First question. Neon pink or lime green?
oh, Gaston, neon pink. Neon pink. It's my favorite. It's funny. I really have two. I have my boy color, which is blue. But then I hate to say it, neon pink all the way.
Because these are the two colors I really associate with you. Either you're
Absolutely.
in neon pink or lime green.
I tried to, I don't know. Can you see my little earrings somewhere in there?
Well, if you're looking on YouTube, you can probably see them. Yeah.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. So those are lime green, but you don't have any neon pink right now, except your makeup.
Just the face.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those who are listening and not watching, Mackenzie has come in full face today.
Full face.
Which is my first drag artist to come on the podcast.
Hey.
In full drag. So I'm very happy about that.
Glad to be.
Congratulations on being a pioneer.
Hey.
Oh, and this links to my next speed round question.
Okay.
In makeup or out of makeup?
In. Oh my gosh. In. If you've put on a very, very heavy face of makeup before, you know, sometimes it's like, oh God, it's time to put on my makeup. But there's something about the journey of becoming. And I don't know, it's very therapeutic. It's very meditative. And I love it. Plus, I get better every single time I do makeup, believe it or not. But yeah, it's truly one of my favorite things to do is sit down and just kind of be with myself and paint away.
But do you feel like you put on a different personality when you put on your face?
Absolutely not.
No?
I think that is something that's unique about Mackenzie's drag is that the same being in drag is the exact same person out. It's just amplified a little more. It's just a little more neon green and neon pink.
But do you feel it gives you more confidence to be out there performing and putting your best self out there?
Definitely. The drag does feel like armor in its own way. I will say that it has taught me a lot more about my confidence out of drag. But yeah, Mackenzie definitely is sort of that. She's not a bad girl by any means, but she definitely lets me get away with some things that I otherwise wouldn't want to.
So how often, like in a week, how often do you put on your full makeup face?
Depends on how many shows I have, I guess. I mean, I average during the season, probably at least twice. I am available on Cameo now. So if you ever need an on-demand video, I can definitely make that for you. But I also just like to practice, especially with each 420 show or something. I always like to push the boundaries because I have a face that works for me. I can almost do this in my sleep. But I like to play. I like to, this is years and years and years of trial and error of figuring out where my eyebrows are going to go and the color of my lips and the lip stain and the highlight. And I would not have gotten to this point if it hadn't been for practice. So if you have any dreams of makeup fabulosity out there, just keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And right now you're in full makeup because you're on your way to host one of your weekly
RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party.
Why is that so hard to say?
It's tough.
RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, I want to say early bird, but I feel like my early's not everybody's early. I used to be somebody who could easily sleep until 3, 4 p.m. until I had to be at work that night.
Oh, Lordy.
Right? But now with this whole new lease on life, my first alarm, if there is an alarm, or maybe the first time my eyes open in the morning is usually about 6, 7 o'clock. Now, if I stay in bed after, it's my own doing. But I'm usually up and going with a nice Cafe Bustelo in my cup by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I know that's probably very late.
But my day's half over by then. Because this morning I was up at 5 and I was in the pool by 5:30.
Good for you.
Yeah. With your job, don't you have to stay up late very often?
Yes and no. There was a lot of nightlife work that I was doing. Now in the off season, there's not so much of that, which is fine. But also with Pop and Dutch, I get up in the morning to do their prep, which thankfully in Provincetown, it's only 1 o'clock is how late we are. So I can still get a pretty good substantial amount of sleep after I scrub this face off. Sometimes it calls for some late nights and some early mornings, which you just kind of have to know is part of the gig. But I'm always prioritizing rest. So even if I don't get it at night, there's usually a good nap waiting for me sometime later.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you ever end up participating in Showgirls on Monday nights?
It's been a very long time, and Ryan, if you're listening, I know you are. I'll be back soon. I used to grace the Showgirl stage pretty regularly. I even won several times, so I like to.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I like to pretend I'm giving some of these other girls a chance.
For those who don't know, Showgirls is a show here every Monday in the summer.
Mhm.
It's sort of a curated open mic.
Yeah.
You can have all sorts of performers going on stage, but it's sort of centered around drag.
Yes.
And
Hosted by Ryan Landry.
Hosted by Ryan Landry, who please come on my podcast.
Come on, baby.
And it always ends up being a complete riot.
It is. It's chaotic. It's colorful. It's vulgar, but there's so much heart in it, and I don't know. I always enjoy it. I know it has been a while, Ryan. I will be back, but every time I have been a part of it, or even just as a spectator, I've always had the time of my life.
So anyways, you're in bed by then anyways. Okay. Next question. Superheroes or villains?
Villains. They have the better costumes. Now, mind you, there are some superheroes out there with some pretty badass costumes, but when we get the textures and the spikes and the I don't know, there's something, and I guess not all villains are evil. I feel like sometimes they're just trying to people always need an enemy for something. The
older I get, the more I look at these villains and I go, well, the villain was right.
Right. I mean, Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze were just trying to stop the environment from going crazy. And I think they really had their thoughts correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, villains all the way.
They had a point there. Okay, last question.
Absolutely.
Dolphins or whales?
Dolphins, they're so gay. And whales are gay too, but they're also extremely intelligent. Nothing against the whales out there. But I don't know. I think the way that they communicate, sometimes I wish I could just as well. But
did you ever watch Flipper growing up?
I did. It was a VHS that we had that I think we wore out because it was just so much fun.
It was also a TV series way back in the 60s or the 70s. I'm old enough that I watched it on TV. And yeah, my parents had a pool and we would be in the pool talking like dolphins.
Yes. And then that eventually graduated. Did you played mermaids? Come on. Did you play mermaids?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
No.
Well, we're going to play mermaids together someday.
Okay. I mean, I love whales too, but dolphins seem like they would be more fun to hang out with.
I think so.
Yeah. Just like you're a lot of fun to hang out with.
Thank you, Gaston.
And I want to thank you so much for all you do for this town.
My pleasure. Truly my pleasure.
As I said at the beginning, you're one of the rare performers who's here year-round, making sure that we are never bored.
Got you, baby.
Yeah.
Always and forever. I love you, P-Town. I love you, Gaston. Thank you.
Thank you for all your love, and thank you for all the love you spread all around. And thank you all for joining us on this podcast. Have a great day.
Bye.